as we continue the build up to the general election, September 3, date in hand, we know what the situation is. We're speaking to people who are putting themselves forward for service, and one such individual is Delano Sivright. He needs no introduction, State Minister in the Ministry of Tourism and Senator, obviously on the government benches. And he's a former G2K president and a businessman. Otherwise, people will say, well, North Central St. Andrew is a safe seat. So, you pay no attention. But you've heard the Prime Minister himself say the concept of safe seats disappearing fast from the psyche of the Jamaican voters. And you have to earn your corn. And with people becoming even more informed than before, you can't take risks and say because a seat traditionally votes a certain way and you are off that particular side, which is always successful, that you can take for granted the support of people at an election. And therefore, Sivright, keen to tell his constituents what difference he will make and how he will carry on and improve from the platform of the legacy left by Carl Samuda. So he joins us in studio this morning, Tona.
I was just waiting for Stinger. I like to hear our Stinger or raised to 32 Stinger, but
it lost.
It lost. But welcome to the studios of Nationwide 90 FM, Delano.
Morning, George. Morning, Tana. And morning to all your listeners and viewers and all your people on social media.
First of all, talk to us about how the campaign is going in North Central St. Andrew.
Pretty good. So we're pretty much doing community walks every day. So yesterday we were walking the Armour Heights area, the Stillwell Road area. Actually, I ran into Senator Tom Tavares Finson, President of the Senate, who resides in that area. We had a good chat. Also had a cottage meeting last night in the Allardyce area with a bunch of residents in one of the townhouse communities, discussing national and local constituency-related issues. What we are focused on is really just to build on the legacy of Carl Samuda. He has done a tremendous amount of work in the space. Himself and Pauline Samuda are really genius politically and also as people, supporters of people, persons who want to help people. He has been in the space for 45 years. He's been MP since 1980. He's been there in the space since the mid-1970s, lost in 76, won in 1980, and won every election since then. You want to learn from that. You want to build from that, because that's a record of success. You don't want to change that. What you want to do is to build on that legacy and ensure that you look about the needs and the concerns of the constituents as best as you possibly can and show them a vision and a way forward too.
Here's what your opponent is saying about the constituency, Samuda's leadership as well, and speaking of you. So your opponent, Christopher Henry, who is also from the constituency, born and raised there, he said Samuda is ineffective and is taking or has taken the people for granted. He said because they believe it's a safe seat, there is no need to campaign, no need for attention. He said sections of the constituency have suffered from serious neglect. And he also said that the people there in North Central St. Andrew want a change. How do you respond to that?
So I know Christopher Henry, and good person, means well, and I think he wants the best for the constituency and for the country. The fact is, Mr. Samuel has won that seat for 45 years. For the last 45 years, he left the JLP at one point when he had the difficulties in the JLP over 30 years ago. Ran for the People's National Party and won it, which is quite unusual for a seat that is quote unquote considered safe. If it was safe, he would not have won in 1993. It's as simple as that. What that means is that he's absolutely grounded with the people. You know, one of the important things about politics and being a representative is to be on the ground and to just interact and meet people and learn, because we don't know everything. And in that, all those interactions I've had in Park Lane, the Whitehall Avenue area, Cassava Peace, Lady Huggins, and so on, people have pointed to me, especially the older folks, how their lives has been transformed under the leadership of Casamuda. They told me they used to walk on dirt roads. They had no water, no infrastructure, no light. He brought infrastructure to the constituency, and I think that's one of his sterling achievements. Now, like any constituency where you have inner city pockets and so on, there are a lot of areas that are in need of significant transformation. So in light of that, he has already brought much of the infrastructure into the space. at a time when, the economy wasn't doing well. We suffered from economic stagnation under the leadership of then Prime Minister P.J. Patterson and so on. We want to build on that legacy, and we have been doing just that. In the common era, for example, we have renovated the community center there of Dunmere. Good young people involved. We have built up brand new youth groups within the space. Also within the Park Lane area, we're working to build up a proper youth group there. We've been having health fairs. We've been working with a number of the younger constituents to get them more engaged in community activities. We've worked with the Whitehall Citizens grouping as it relates to having a huge health and jobs fair there. We're working with the Lady Huggins community. We are actually, as we speak right now, we're doing a project there, building walls, beautifying the area. Did the same for the Fagan Avenue area of Grants Pen Road. Beautified a space there, doing a significant amount of children treats, back to school treats, stuff like that. But beyond that, really also working towards the transformation of the more challenged communities in the area. I met with Keith Duncan, Project Star, about Cassava Peace and the need for action there, significant social intervention within that space. I've been communicating with the police constantly and working closely with them on issues in a number of so North Central is a dynamic constituency. Inner city pockets, middle class pockets, upper class pockets, all in one constituency. And you have to shift and adjust accordingly. The Samudas have done a lot. The Constant Spring Primary School upgrade project, they did that. The Constant Spring Road Rehabilitation Project, that was a vision of theirs. It was executed. A significant amount of major projects within the space were executed by the Samudas, and what that has done is to secure the seat, essentially, certainly for the Jamaica Labour Party, but it's not something that we want to take for granted. So we've been communicating on the ground with the people on a daily basis. We'll never change from that, and we've learned that from Carl. He's been very keen on ensuring that, stay in touch with the people, stay close to the people, and that's why he was able to win that seat all these years, and also been able to win it under a different party banner, because he is a people man, and he works on dealing with the concerns of the people.
We're speaking with the JLP standard bearer in North Central St. Andrew, Delano Seavright.
Hold on there. We're just adjusting the microphone so we don't get the feedback from the minister's phone. All right, so we're good to go now. Delano Seavright is in the studio with us here at Broadcast House talking about North Central St. Andrew. Here's the thing, Minister Seavright. Yes. You mentioned the broad demographic makeup of your constituency. It has people who, struggling, hustling day to day. You have those who are professionals who are much better off, and then you have those who are extremely well off, all rolled into one constituency. The challenge is in the informal communities, of which there are several inside North Central St. Andrew. And this issue of land titling, because I find that it is perhaps understated as one of the serious problems that members of parliament with this kind of a feature of their constituencies will have to deal with even more significantly beyond this point, especially because land titling is something that is prominent across both political parties that they're doing for people in other spaces. So people in inner city communities want to own what they've lived on informally for several years. How are you going to tackle that with so many of those communities inside North Central St. Andrew?
So that's among our top priorities in the constituency. Minister Samuda has been very keen on it too. Carl Samuda has been very keen on getting it done. In traversing the communities and talking to the people and going through the issues, you see the complications with getting the titles sorted. So the government has been very aggressive over the last several years in issuing.
But before you move to talk about the difficulties, yes. I want my listeners, I want to bring them close to the situation.
Yes.
What are the practical difficulties with titling somebody, especially, so there's a tenement yard.
Yes.
Tana live over there, so me live here, so King live over there, so Ricardo live, then Cliff have one piece up at the top. Who gets which boundary? How do you zone it? What are the practical
difficulties? And there are nice issues. My grandmother lived here. My dad lived here. I lived here. I eventually left. My auntie came in, took the property. She built up a little house. Her house is now stretching across on another property. So you have issues with surveys and so on, properties overlapping, family disputes. huge problem in a number of these spaces because of, the complexities of, family affairs. Auntie fell out with the uncle moved on, he wants back the land and so on. So we're going to work closely with the National Land Agency, who I know have modernized and has been modernizing their systems and modernizing their administrative approaches to addressing some of these issues, and systematically, lane by lane, street by street, work out the land titling issues. As part of that effort, I'm establishing a small core team of persons who have retired, including retired persons who have experience in the land titling space, to come on board with North Central St. Andrew, because I can't do it myself. And with the support of the Samudas, to sit along with the National Land Agency, get a consultant in to assist, and work out a systematic plan to regularize as much of the stock within the space, especially in that Whitehall area, Park Lane area, and so on, as efficiently as possible. It's not going to be perfect because it requires a significant amount of family and social intervention too. You cannot do it without it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed over the years with North Central St. Andrew, well, not just me, the records show, there is this volatility in certain areas. I mean, if you don't know the area, you'll know the area through song, because there are certain communities that are always mentioned in song by the DJs with the gangster lyrics, 100 Lane, Pinkley and Parkley in these places. And I'm saying, what is it about these communities, Delana Siv, right, that causes them to that causes pockets within those communities to trend towards violence so easy? It's almost as if violence is the family business that generations have to work in, and the social services, the representatives are powerless to steer them away from that life of crime, and thus they make the communities bad.
So one of the issues, of course, well, let me just state that the crime numbers in this space have reduced significantly, as is the case nationwide, with the 40+% reduction in murders, which is mainly attributable to enhanced policing efforts, better coordination with community leaders, and so on. Some of the spaces are much more calm than they were many years ago, and that's good. There are still some areas that have challenges, occasionally Park Lane and so on, 100 Lane and so on tend to have challenges, and there's almost like a legacy of violence in some of those spaces. One of the things that we have been doing and have been doing pretty well, I think, in the last several months, is the establishment of functional youth groups in the space to properly engage the young people. It's not political. It's whoever. Get the best and brightest in the community, and there are a lot of them there. Organize them in a room. I bring the Social Development Commission in. We bring other private sector stakeholders in. Almost similar to what Project Star is doing, but not at the same level. And we say, listen, sit together and build a youth group. We're giving you full support, and we've done that already in common. I was amazed. We had a community center that, sort of got abandoned and so on. And the group came together, we gave them resources, and they renovated and fixed that whole community center within 2 weeks. I mean, beautiful community center now. Now they're having job fairs and they have health fairs planned and everything in that community center. Everything set up. And that's young, bright people within the space, some of them with 9, 10 subjects, who just need opportunity and who need organization. So we've been working on that. There are hardened elements in some of these communities that the police just have to deal with. I mean, I'm very clear on that, who I don't think are interested in quote-unquote social transformation. But there are some of them who just need opportunity. And we are offering some of those opportunities. Of course, I'm in the tourism space, so I'm able to access job opportunities and so on for some. And some of them just want that break. And then some of them have advised, maybe you need to leave, get a job elsewhere, build up yourself, because you're in a space of toxicity here with your family and so on. You just need a break from the space. Go and give them an opportunity to do that. They go somewhere and they live, and you'll be surprised how they'll come back a transformed person. So I've been working closely with the police. I'm going to be working closely with Keith Duncan and the Project Star team, because I really want serious intervention in Cassava Peace, where I think there are issues, and it's a complex situation there. It's a gully bank community, and there's a legacy and history of violence in the space and sort of chaos that we have to get on top of. Beyond that, though, the other communities are pretty calm, and there are a lot of good people in there who just need to be engaged, and we've been engaging them.
You spoke about housing, but water as well has been identified as a challenge. What's the plan for water, building out that, making sure constituents have access to water?
Correct. So there are water challenges in specific areas of the constituency that are legacy issues. Thankfully, the government, the water policies and programs over the last several years have been the most significant in the country's history. You look, for example, and I'm gone far now, the Western Water Resilience Program is a $67 billion program to address water woes from St. Anne straight around to Westmoreland. I know the Rio Cobre Water PPP project is something that will transform and really game change the water problems in the corporate area, Portmore and elsewhere. And I'm really looking forward to it because it's going to benefit everybody. Beyond that, we continue with our significant water tanks program. The government has issued over like 13,000 water tanks over the last several years. That's something that North Central St. Andrew needs in specific communities, and we've been working to deal with that. And we have also been enhancing the trucking of water in specific spaces when we have drought conditions, as we do have now in specific communities, and that has been going well. But again, the regularization of some of these communities, absolutely important. The issues of land titling, getting communities regularized. 85 Riddles Road is a special project being undertaken by the government of Jamaica. The MP, Casamud, has been very big on it, where we're literally transforming 85 Riddles Road, which was terribly informal, and we're formalizing the space with roads, drainage, fencing, and so on, so people can live at a certain standard of living. Other issues, of course, vary beyond the inner city communities in the more uptown areas. Is trees hanging on power lines.
But hold on, I want to come to them, but hold on. Let me just ask this now, because you said very interestingly. I've never heard a member of parliament aspirant or a member of parliament serving say that they advise certain people to just leave, just get a fresh start, because here it's poisonous. It reminds me of that. There's this song from Idonia which says the area kill you dead and you're now left down there till you're dead, and you don't want that to be the fate of many people. So that's good. But here's the thing now. One of the things I'm interested in is, years ago there was an effort along, that Riddles Road, a pan chicken, jerk chicken central. You're coming from party Friday night, Saturday night.
They're the night before last night. So.
Yeah. And you're raw, as Jamaicans say. You want some good jerk chicken? Just drive go Riddles Road and pick your vendor. So there was an effort years ago, Delano Siv, right, from that avenue that the Island Grill is on. If you want to get the Island Grill, drive to that avenue. What's that avenue called again? Right. So from there, all the way up to Price Smart on that stretch.
That corridor.
Vendors like nothing, left, right, both sides of the road. And I think it was Red Stripe that had a project to turn a table and a little chair into a formal stall, painted, of course, in the Red Stripe colors. And it looked good. It was a huge difference. So I'm asking, if it is that you have in your plans, the things are faded now, and some of them
are they doing that, by the way? So
because I'm saying it made you feel better about doing business there, and I'm sure the business people appreciated it, and it suggested to them that they weren't seen by the authorities as people who just set up a little stove on a table here and try to sell something. It was almost being formalized. So I want you to talk to me about the commerce, the roadside commerce, and how you're helping people to take pride in what they do and to make it look good for people who go there to do business.
Now we're doing rehabilitation projects there. Just a week ago, we handed out aprons to all the jerk chicken vendors along the corridor as part of efforts to enhance the feel of the place, the aesthetics of the place. We're going to improve their cooking, what they're cooking. We're going to repaint a number of the spaces along that corridor. We're going to work closer with some of the business community there also to enhance the look and feel of their frontage. I had just yesterday morning, myself and Dwayne Smith, who is a neighboring MP, we met and we discussed a number of projects and initiatives that we're going to be pursuing, because we run along that road. He's on the left-hand side, essentially. I'm on the right-hand side. So from Price Mart going all the way down to basically Lee's Food Fair is where the focus is. We have a huge parking problem, by the way. in that space, which is a challenge for us. And we've been knocking heads as to how we're going to address the parking issues there and what collaborative efforts will be required with other businesses that have parking that would allow nighttime parking so that the road can really get back to life at the level that we want it to be at night, right? And the safety has improved for sure along the corridor. So we've been working with them, but beyond that, we're going to be working with corporate Jamaica too, as we have done in the past, to improve the look and feel of the aesthetics of the space, because that space, they earn good money. A number of them earn good money, and it's important for the community to see them succeeding, and it gives them a chance to do other things. Beyond that, the Manor Park area has been an area of concern by the bus park there and so on. It's a bit untidy. We've committed. I've already met with Panjam. I met with Stephen Facey, Jeffrey, all a bunch of guys who are real estate owners in that space to see how they can work with government to address the issues there at the Manor Park bus terminus, because a number of the residents have complained about it, and a number of commuters have complained about it. The place just needs to look better. Needs a proper fencing, nice trees, areca palms, whatever. And also better aesthetics and public sanitation.
Well, listen.
Yes.
After the break, but King, remind me before I go to the break so I can remember. Not even Calabar. Weird. We knew we were going to say Calabar. Hold on, man. Not Calabar. Sean's school. Is it Seaward Drive on Whitehall Avenue? The school.
Swallowfield.
Mr. Sivrite, the road from you Barnes Hill now.
Fixed now.
What? But hold on.
We're fixing it
and
now.
inside Whitehall,
Yes.
I don't know the roads after the break.
Yes.
You got to tell me what the roads after the break. Bad state after you turn off Manningsville Road at the jerk shop on your left and go down, and the area of 12 the road atrocious for the longest while. So answer that for me, and then of course talk to me about the roads in Smokyville. Why the Smokyville people have to suffer so bad?
So let me say thanks, of course, to the Minister of Works, Robert Nesta Morgan, of course, Prime Minister, and the National Works Agency. So that project is now on stream between 12 Road and Burke there along Whitehall. Asphaltic concrete is being laid. The project has started. About 100 meters or so of asphaltic concrete will be laid there. The challenge there was really, of course, there are residents in the area who, unfortunately, the soakaways are full and the wastewater is essentially always running on the road, which is a terrible situation. Met with the residents to say, okay, we'll work with you privately to address that problem so that we don't have this problem where the wastewater is just constantly running on the road. It's their responsibility to deal with it, but you know what, I've learned in life that sometimes you just have to intervene and say, you know what, I'm going to help you to fix this problem. So we're going to do that. So thank you to the National Works Agency for that. The other critical artery that had challenges was along the Charlton Fording, right? Because, you know, the potholes are pretty deep there, and that's also being paved over with asphaltic concrete. And that project too is ongoing as we speak. So there's closed off, and we expect that project to be wrapped up in another week or so. So we have tackled those major arteries in the constituency, Whitehall Avenue, and I know to your wealthy friends and your middle class friends in Smokyville. Yes, we have those roads too on the Spark program. About 3 of them. Aries is being done. Capricorn is also on the list, and there's another one I believe that's on the list. That project too is ongoing. But the roads in Smokyville, I agree. I met with the Citizens Association myself, Minister Samuda, and Chris was there too. And we had really deep conversations about the roads in Smokyville. You know, the challenge is that this road thing is even driving me up the wall. So the residents of Orange Grove, for example, we had a Spark project there. Beautiful project. And I'm really happy that we have a Spark program where you can have about 680 roads across the country rehabilitated, fundamentally rehabilitated. We had an issue with Summit Heights just above Orange Grove. What I've done now is not just to rely wholly on government, but to ask our friends in the private sector, many of who live in the constituency. I said, do me a favor, can you fix Summit Heights for us? Because the road is craters. And that project started a week plus ago, and it's going well. We got the youths to come in, debush it. Then the concrete guys came in and laid the concrete, and that's happening. Hill Road, same project ongoing. Met with residents of the Hill Road area, quite a number of prominent residents around there, and we're getting the private sector again to come in to assist in patching out some of the road, use some of the concrete, asphaltic concrete and so on, to address some of the issues in the Hill Road community, because they too have been suffering from bad roads. But Jamaica has thousands of kilometers of roads, and we have roads everywhere. So you will have one road that's terrible with 6 mansions on it. But to fix that road properly is $80 million. So we really have to think through road rehabilitation and maintenance in the country, and also we need the support of communities too. In because what's happening, the construction too, that some of those construction projects, the apartment building and so on, there are issues there, and I know NEPA and a number of government officials have been meeting on it as relates to them also damaging some of the roads by virtue of their construction projects and not fixing it back. And that's another issue that I intend to take on seriously with the authorities.
Here's someone who appears to be a constituent, Nikki Graham, who is asking about Dunmere Road.
Yes.
If that's on the Spark program.
Yeah, so that will be rehabilitated, and we have some patching work going on throughout the Dunmere area, Terracotta, Whitehaven, Red Hills Gardens too. We'll see some benefits from the patching programs there. Also Hillman Road off Constant Spring Road, and a number of other roadways where we have issues with potholes and so on. We're working to patch them out as quickly as possible, including Stillwell and so on. So we're using both public sector, but also relying on one of the things that we have been big on is say, okay, guys, let's have a collaborative approach. And I think when the Prime Minister had asked me as leader of the party to chair the engagement committee, where we met with dozens of civil society organizations and groupings as part of our efforts to build into our manifesto, it gave me an opportunity to realize that, through collaboration, through proactiveness, and just working with people, some with more resources than others, we can get a lot of things done. So some of these roads in some of these communities, we are relying on our good private sector partners, some of whom have done well because of the growth in the tourism industry and so on. You can't help me fix a one road here or one road there. And I see that working, and I'm happy about that, and we're going to build on that too.
With the back and forth with the selection process, Delano, and here you are now. Has the JLP lost any love in North Central St. Andrew?
None at all. What I love about Jamaica overall is that we're a democracy. The JLP won the 2016 election by 1 seat and ran the government well. 1 seat. And one of our pitch to investors whenever we're trying to get people to build in Jamaica, to invest in Jamaica, is that, we have a vibrant functioning democracy, internal and external. You can win by 1 seat and you don't need one military tank on the road or anything. We're good. And in the JLP too, we have our own internal democracy. And in politics, it is competitive. But in the end, what we want, and you have to give Andrew his credit for this, the fractiousness that I always hear about in the JLP in the 90s and so on, it's not there anymore. Even if you have internal disagreements, we'll work it out in a civil way, and we try to ensure that we respect each other, because everybody has a role to play. And I'm just happy that we have been able to settle the issues and really have brought calm to the space. And I'm happy about that.
So from now until September 3, what does it look like for you, your team in North Central St. Andrew? So
we continue to work on a number of our community projects. So we do quite a bit of community engagements. We have a series of back-to-school treats. We had about 2 or 3 already. We have several more in common. 85, Lady Huggins, Cassava Peace, up in Mount Salus, and so on, focused on that. Of course, we have our ongoing community development projects, small scale but important. We continue to address a number of the road concerns in the space as quickly as possible. So we've been meeting with citizens associations and so on. And just to add, I've been encouraging what has happened. A lot of the citizens associations have become defunct. I don't know. I guess it's the sign of the times and so on. But with technology, we can really set them up quickly. We have the WhatsApp groups and so on. I'm encouraging citizens to build out proper functioning citizens associations.
Here in the chat, Angeli says Please arrange a meeting with residents of Oaklands, Mr. Delano, and bring some achievement handbooks. We need to meet you, sir, she says.
Yes. So we have some engagements in Oaklands also planned. Quite a lot of renters in there too.
Yes.
It's a transient community. Yes. But yes, we'll be there. We'll be there in very short order. And I think we've handed out the most books of any constituency. The achievements. And I love it. It's like hot bread. Mm-hmm. So we go around and we'll walk with them in our hands and we distribute them. But we really need to get the citizens associations active again. And I'm making an appeal to a number of the residents in these communities. Take part in the cleanliness of your community. Take part in the growth and development of your community. Orange Grove, to me, has probably one of the best citizens associations in all of Jamaica. And they get attention. They have their Spark Road project. Why? Because they come together and they lobby and they push and they get it done.
But you must also tell the listeners, Mr. Sifra, that it's because of the who lives in Orange Grove. It's not normal Joe live in Orange Grove. So when so-and-so call you, I mean, you can't. There you go. You have to be. Yeah. The last thing before you go is this: the overall push by this administration for a third term. Yes. Marlon Morgan was on the radio yesterday talking to Ton on another program about incumbent fatigue. Yes. Do you think that that's a real thing, that the messaging for the JLP needs to be consistent and agile to help dissipate?
Well, as a student of political science, of course, after 2 terms, some people get tired of it. It is what it is. Nonetheless, the government has performed. And humbly, things are not perfect. We know there are issues with cost of living. That's a problem everywhere now. You talk to your friends in Canada, the UK, and the US. Everybody's struggling as it relates to the cost of living and how expensive things have become. Nonetheless, we have created 250,000 jobs in the last several years. We have cut GCT. We have cut GCT on electricity bills. We have a tourism workers pension scheme. We have a strong social safety net. We have grown the economy. We have stabilized the economy. And we are investment friendly, and people are confident about Jamaica and confident about the future of Jamaica. That, to me, speaks to focus, to vision, and to effective leadership on the part of Prime Minister the Most Honorable Andrew Holness.
Mm-hmm. And your parting word to your constituents?
We're looking forward to your support. We're doing our best to meet each and every one of you. Some person said it's strange to see us in some of these communities walking, but it has to be done. We want to engage you, we want to talk to you, and we want your support on September 3.
Will we ever see Christian walking with you in North Central?
Of course. I was with Tom yesterday at his residence as part of my walk through the community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, we're all good. We're 100% good.
Very well. Mm-hmm. Delano Siv right there, the JLP Standard Bearer for North Central St. Andrew. At about 2:01 p.m. on Monday, he'll officially be a candidate. And then, the campaign moves into another phase 1 suspect. Thank you this morning for your time.
Thank you.